Good evening and welcome to another edition of Talking To. I am Rufus Bill, and Happy New Year to all of you who are listening all around the world and all, from your home, from your car, from your job, from wherever you may be on this beautiful Sunday evening, January 8th, 2023. We've been gone for a couple of weeks because of the holidays, but we are back. Or I should say, some of us are back. Good afternoon, Joanne Tosa.
Good
How are you?
afternoon. How are you,
I
Rufus?
am great. How are
Happy
you
New
doing today?
Year.
Happy New
We made it.
Year.
We made it.
We
Another
made
one.
it.
Praise God.
I know that's right. It is so
Uh,
good to see you and to be back with everyone for a new year and some great new shows.
yes. I'm so excited. I'm
I
so
am too. I
excited.
am too. So we've been gone and all of that good stuff. So you got to bring us up to date. Now the last show that we did, you were away, and Justin was here. And now today Justin is away, and you are here. So
next week we'll all be back
we'll,
together.
we'll all be back together.
Next week. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. You know how life plays. Life does some things sometimes.
Yes, it will.
But you know what? The last show that I wasn't here, I went to go see our show.
Oh, that's right. Tell us about the Tina Turner.
Because you went the week before I did.
I went the week before. How did you like it?
I liked it. I did. The first part was a little slow for me. It was the Tina show.
Right.
About Tina Turner. And
yes, it was.
I thought it was really good. Really good. The second part, I really liked that second part.
Oh, man. It was just excitement and wow.
But they did a good job.
They did a great job.
Yes, they did.
You know, while I was viewing the first act before intermission, I was seeing the stage show, but I was thinking in my head the movie. And bringing up the different scenes that they had on stage and thinking about, okay, that scene was in the movie.
Oh, I know what they're talking about there.
Right.
They got in and show all that they showed in the movie. but you know what? It was funny. I wanted to see the fight.
I thought we were going to see the fight too.
That might not be good, is it?
Maybe not. Opera House said, wait a minute. We're not going to see that.
They more implied the fight than they actually did But I was like,
the act, the physical act. Yes.
It's a stage.
There was something that happened, and I meant to jot it down that I did not know about her. Maybe it'll come back to me as we do the show. But great acting. Was anybody in it that you know from Detroit?
Oh, it was a name. Oh man, I should have wrote it down myself. It was one person in there, one lady.
Okay.
And she is from Detroit. I'm almost sure she is because I recognize her name in other like local plays that I've been to.
Okay.
And so I was like, all right now. And I should have wrote her name down. And I did.
And I meant to have the playbill.
Right.
Because the night I was there, that I saw it, somebody was. It was a group calling out her name. And I said, she must be from Detroit.
Yes.
Yeah. And that guy was really good.
He was good. He was good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's really good when you really don't like him.
Right. He's doing what he's supposed to do.
He needs to go somewhere and sit down. So he's doing a good job with his acting when it's like,
mission accomplished. We still don't like you.
That's right. But he really did. I think he did a good job.
Yes. And that little girl.
Oh my goodness.
That budding actress. Wow.
Oh my, and her voice.
It was so mature.
Yes, and clear and clean, and just I'm like, go girl, you go.
Yes, she is.
I can't wait to see her in some other things.
I was gonna say,
can't wait.
Yep,
to
definitely
see where she goes. Yes,
have her mark. Well, how was your Christmas and what did you do?
Christmas was relaxing. Spent time. Didn't go anywhere. I did a lot of orders.
I know you did.
Christmas was relaxing. Spent time with my family.
Good.
Christmas Eve we had dinner with Rick's at my niece's home.
Okay.
And nephew's home, and then Christmas Day we had dinner with my son's fiance's family.
Oh, great!
And so it was nice. So I didn't have to prepare. It was not at my home, so a dish here, a dish there.
Yes,
I was good.
and you were done. No cleanup.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
I said no cleanup.
No cleanup. No cleanup. Yes.
So, my Christmas being on the Sunday, I had to play that day. And I was thinking, I was being Rufus. I said, when is this service going to be over?
I'm ready to go home.
I'm ready to go home. But after the service, I did come home for a little while and got myself together.
Okay.
And then I went over to a friend and we had a mutual friend to come in town.
Awesome.
And so they were over there at the house cooking. Now I got to the house at 8 and they were still trying to put the finishing touches on everything.
8 in the evening.
8 in the evening.
Okay.
But the food was great. We had great company and it was just really good. So we were all together for like 3 days and just have a great time. And I got a delicious cake and a delicious candied apple. And and the day that I received it, I called a friend and I said, the lady that cooked that other cake made a cake. I said, now you can come over and get a couple slices because I'm going to eat this entire cake. I think within 15 minutes, he was over here with ice cream. And he heated
Y'all were in trouble.
We were in trouble. We heated the cake and it was warm and we put the ice cream on top of it. Ooh. And then, but I didn't tell him that I had an apple. I was not going to share that.
So you hid the apple.
I hid the apple. And then after he left, I brought it out around 2 o'clock that morning, 1 o'clock, and I sliced that apple. It was so sweet, Joanne. I was like, where did Joanne get this apple? Oh my God. I had a time. I ate cake. Then the next day I had fried chicken and cake. Later on I had cake again. But this time I was smart. And I sliced just a little section, just enough to freeze.
Good.
I said, don't eat the whole cake, Rufus. It's too close to do it.
You got sugar. Look, sugar diabetes.
Right.
Rufus, what's the matter?
I'm having a sugar fit. But thank you so much. I really enjoyed that.
I'm really, so glad you enjoyed it. I'm so glad.
And
I was hoping you weren't home because I wanted that to be a surprise.
It was such a surprise.
I want him catching me.
Being Santa's helper.
Yes.
And it's funny, the next door neighbor, she said, you had a delivery and I was keeping my eye out on it. I said, were you? One of our seasoned citizens.
Oh, that's
so she
great.
Just has her maybe her chair just parks just so where she can view up and down.
Awesome.
Yes. And then that following weekend, oh my God, I attended Burns Avenue for Gerald's 25th plus celebration. That was spectacular.
Oh, wasn't it good? It was thank God. And I thank God we got him. Rufus, you know G.
I know.
He did not have a clue. But that was a celebration and a service. Oh my goodness. It was.
How were you all able to keep that under wraps, even with his mother?
Threatening folks.
Oh, that's what
his mom knew. Now his mom knew.
But I mean, from telling, I was really surprised.
She was so happy that we were doing it, But my mom knew, and she was like, mm-mm. So and even with people texting her, she said, "Don't text me anymore. Don't talk. Don't," because Gerald, he kind monitors her phone and
Uh-huh.
just to make sure she is working and doing all that she wants it
Yes.
to do.
Uh-huh.
She said he might pick up my phone and read. So everybody don't stop texting me. I'll talk to you when I see you, or let me call you. So she was in on it. Yes, she was. Yes, she
It
was.
was a
But it
great
was. And you know what was
service.
wonderful is that usually we do those kind of things when we're viewing people.
Yes. Too late.
And it was wonderful to give him his flowers, to give him his due
Yes.
and appreciation so that he could hear it. Look,
Definitely.
and you know what folks are talking about, so you're
right.
not being old.
On this side.
You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was just great to give somebody their flowers while they can smell them.
Yes.
You know, give them their appreciation while they can hear it and see it and know
Mm-hmm.
that you're loved and you are truly, truly appreciated. Yeah.
Appreciated.
So that was great.
And the tributes from all of the former pastors and some of his
Yes.
friends. Oh, that was magnificent. It definitely was.
Yes.
I remember
Praise
when Gerald and his mom and his aunt and his sister first came to the church, because I was still, active in the church at the time.
Okay.
And he joined the cherubim choir, and Alice Bronner was the directress there.
Wow.
And I can remember so clearly, she gave him a solo. And this was his first solo that he ever did at Burns. And I remember him saying that he was nervous. But of course he was a little boy, I think maybe at maybe 8, maybe 7, 8, something like that. And the song was the potter saw this vessel that no one can deny. Remember that song? Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And right before the choir, we were in the primary room, and the choir was getting ready to come out, and they prayed, and that's when he told Alice that he was so nervous, and she said something to him, and then when he came out and it was time to sing that song, he sang that like he had been on Broadway all his life.
See?
Everybody was like, and we had, of course, heard him in practice and all that, but the practice was completely different from the actual performance of the song.
Wow.
And the entire church, we were on Burn Street, of course, the entire church was just went crazy because it just was so unexpected.
It floored you.
He was a little guy. He was a little guy. But I was glad to be there just to see that and see Eric, and wasn't that Russell Taylor?
Russell, yeah.
Russell. Yes. And was that
well, they're our musicians. They're
are they?
Yes. They're our musicians.
That is so cool. Mm-hmm. And the drummer. That's
Gerald Morgan, Shadow.
Yes.
Yes. He's our musician also.
That is so good. Yes. Oh man. Yes. And Joanne, when I saw you pick up that camera, I said, what else does she not do? Or what else does she do? You had that camera. I said, well,
dog. Look, it's only God. I'm for real. Only God. But you know what? I had to learn to do a lot of things because being a wedding and event planner,
right?
You would not believe the many times that people didn't show. A photographer didn't show, and it's not because they were just negligent. It's I remember one time photographer had an accident. I remember another time, somebody died, or and so you have these people, and it's like, okay, well, somebody has to step up. So years ago, that's when I bought a camera and decided, okay, I'm gonna practice this so at least people can have their memories. As far as pictures and stuff like that. So a lot of things that I started doing, even when it comes to like printing, doing programs and invitations, it's because somebody messed up somebody's invitation, a company, and it didn't come out right. So let me fix it for you, or the invitation didn't show up, or so it's like, okay, let me sit down, let me take a class and learn how to do this, so that just in case, they might not want me to do them, but just in case something happens, you can step right in and say, you know what, I got you. That's great. That's how I started doing a whole lot of different things and by the grace of God, to me, I think it's a gift from Him.
It
that
is,
I
definitely.
can do that. Yeah, it
And
really
that's
is a
good that you
gift from God.
cultivated it.
Yeah,
Definitely. So then the very next day, it was New Year. So what did you do for New
I
Year?
slept
Did
all
you?
day. Well, because after the celebration, we also had a dinner.
Oh,
Oh
next
yes,
door in the fellowship
in the
area?
fellowship hall. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was a long day. It
Yes,
was,
that
yeah. And I
was.
had been at the church for 3 days. So Thursday we decorated and all of that. Friday we there, and and then cooking
Uh-huh.
and all of that, and then Saturday. So by the time everything was over, Sister Girl was
Over.
dead tired.
You needed that Sunday off from
They,
talking to.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Click. That's all right.
Did not
So
move.
that's all right. So for my for the new year, day one, I was able to spend time with some friends. Their mother had just recently made her transition,
Oh,
and
okay.
so we were able to to get together. We went to lunch, and then later on we went over to one of the home of the one of the children, and we were able to just talk and reminisce and do a lot of laughs, about his mom, about their mom, I should say. And so it was very enlightening because that's the time when you hear different stories
Yes.
and different funny things, and then that story leads to another story. So we were able just to I guess almost have like a therapeutic powwow.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Hmm.
awesome.
And
That's
then we
awesome.
we went downtown to see the lights, because we know they were going to take them down shortly, and it was just
Yeah.
beautiful. They added some more. Well, I don't know if they added more, but they went into an area that I didn't go in,
Okay.
and saw all those lights, and it was just a very, very festive time.
And I missed that. I did not get to go down there
You
this year. And I kept
didn't,
saying, I need to go. I need to go. And you know what? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I missed
It,
it.
it's nothing like Detroit during the Christmas, Thanksgiving
Yes. It's
and the
beautiful.
holidays. It's
It's
beautiful,
beautiful. Beautiful.
and it always has been.
Yeah.
Even from when I was a child, I look going downtown, especially after Thanksgiving
Mm-hmm.
and Santa Claus arriving and going into Hudson's
Oh,
and that top
those were
floor.
the days. Those
Yes,
were the
they were.
days. Oh
Yes,
my
they were.
goodness.
So, but
Yes.
I'm glad we're back, and we have a couple of more weeks of this season,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna just continue doing what we do, and then take another little break. But today we have a special guest.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I'm so excited. And because I always like to bring our young people
Yes,
on to let people know that our young people are doing some things.
exactly.
They're taking care of themselves. They are out there hustling and doing what they need to do. And I love it, because we get such a bad rap all the time, like we
Hmm.
aren't doing anything. And people,
Anything.
oh, this next generation, oh Lord, where are we gonna be? But there's some young people out there, so I love to bring my young folks on.
All
And this
right.
one is a special young person.
Okay.
He's my nephew.
He's your name.
So I'm a little prejudiced probably. And you know what? And it's funny because he does not know that I listen to him talk.
Really?
I try not to get in their conversation and they
Hmm.
talking, but I listen. And so I thought, okay, I need to have him, because it sounds like this brother man is doing some
It's
stuff to
doing
take
it.
care of himself, and he married my niece.
Okay.
They got married last year,
All right.
and but he's really been in the family for. Look, I forget how many
Longer.
years. I can't even remember. I can't even count them because it's been a while. So he's been a family member for a long time.
How cool.
Yes, but Kyle Stevens. And so I'm going to let him tell you what he does.
All right.
And yep, we're just going to bring him forward. We're just going to bring him on.
Hello.
Brother Kyle.
Hey, Kyle, how you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Great.
Good. So good to
Yep.
see you.
You as well. I found it funny, like in the pre-show when you guys was talking, we all got hats on.
Oh,
Because our hair tools is a little rough, so we just threw the hat on.
Today must not be the day.
we're the hat crew for
Yep.
good reason, Kyle.
Yep.
Yes,
Very much
Kyle.
so.
So welcome.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to, I think you heard me say, I love bringing our young people on to let people know that our young people are out here doing it,
Right.
doing what they need to do. And so I want you to share with us your business, what you do, why you started it, how you started it, and just share a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so for me, the business name is called Digi Collective. I really started it based upon not having access to opportunities. My background is corporate finance. So I went to Wayne State, graduated in 2015, played a little sports there. But then when I left Wayne State, I went into corporate banking. And that whole just system of just nonsense, I picked up some good things in terms of business, how to structure things financially, loans, things like that. But trying to build a career in that space was just challenging. They just wouldn't give me a lot of opportunity, even though they had me on multiple teams and had me working multiple projects. But they kind of just was playing me in a way because they wanted me to stay at the intern level, but I'm doing the work of a credit analyst. That was my job. So I'm helping underwrite business loans to businesses smaller, but we were doing like loans between 300,000 to like 10.5 million, something like that.
Wow.
And I'm doing all this work, but I'm being paid peanuts. And they just kept bringing me back as an intern. And I'm like, okay, when are you actually going to offer me a full-time position? And they're like, oh, we'll talk about it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know what that means. So I always been entrepreneurial. Before the corporate banking stuff, my desire at the time, given I had an uncle down on Wall Street. So he worked there for 19 years.
Wow.
And I was attracted to what he was doing, but I wasn't really attracted to the lifestyle, especially when he told me what they had to do in terms of pushing product on people. Even if they didn't think it was a good investment, they have to sell, a certain amount of shares of a particular company, and they have to get their clients to buy in. I didn't really feel comfortable with that. If I'm gonna sell somebody something, I want it to be something I believe in, or I want it to be something that is going to add value for their situation and that they could, appreciate. So that kind of led me to doing what I do with my distribution business in footwear and apparel called Digi Collective. So what I do is I distribute footwear and apparel. At this point, I've sold to every state. I've shipped off to around 15 different countries, all through this opportunity that I just kind of stumbled upon January 2020. And I just kept working at it and building it.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. So I remember just hearing some conversations. So you started out with footwear, right? So sneakers, gym shoes. I just remember hearing, like I said, people don't think I listen, but I'm listening to.
Yeah. So it was purely just
the things you're doing, but you started out with just footwear, right?
It was purely just footwear. At the time, that's what I had access to. And I was trying to figure out how the market worked for footwear. I've always been into sneakers, but I've never been one of those guys that had, like, say, a room you walk in and there's 500 pairs of shoes. That's not me. Maybe my inventory room looks like that, but that's stuff for other people. My collection was always small, but I always appreciated the design behind sneakers, why they chose a certain color palette or the structure, the technology that they used inside of sneakers. So I've always been into that stuff. And then that led into, I can figure out a way to find stuff at a certain price point and sell it around the world through the internet, and utilize different platforms to do that and meet buyers and connect with people who are selling bulk inventory to people like me who sell to individual buyers. So when I started in January 2020, that was the path that it kind of led me down when I started with footwear. Now I've diversified into apparel, into training, athletic gear, into hats and accessories and things like that. But footwear is still like the primary aspect of what I'm distributing.
And you know what, it's something, because like I said, starting listening to you and then listening and talking to others, I did not realize, because I'm not a sneaker wearer. I wear sneakers when I work out.
Right.
That's really about it. But
Got you.
talking to others and asking, and I'm telling you, and it's male and female they're into sneakers like I'm in the shoes. And I did not realize that the market, and the more I kept hearing you talking about it, and then some of the conversations that you would have with my son, or, just listening, and I'm thinking, wow, okay, this is, and then just asking other people the questions, and that sneaker, man, so you hit the market when you started going with the sneakers, and I couldn't believe, just doing some research myself, the pricing of sneakers. Oh my goodness. But if that's your passion, like certain things are my passion. Certain things are my passion. You're gonna go for it. You're gonna get it. You're gonna do it. Especially those who want the new season. If it's Nike, they want every Nike, the colors, even just watching people in the gym who come to work out, and their shoes are matching their outfit for that day, and style and all of that. That sneaker business is awesome. So how did you choose the sneaker business? How did you, because you said you like sneakers, but you weren't really into like that. So what made you, was it that you did some research and realized, this is a good market?
It was research, and it was a mix of just understanding, because I would follow trends, or I would follow brands. And like, I'm in my early 30s, so in the late 80s, which I really wasn't around, but that's kind of when all this stuff started. When the Jordan 1 came out in 1985, that spurred this whole cultural revolution towards adopting footwear, specifically sneakers, as like a statement piece. So when I really started to look into and research particular models that I already knew about, from high school, or just from seeing people wear certain colorways and certain models of Jordans, or certain models of Yeezys, or just regular Nike Air stuff like Air Maxes, I started to investigate, okay, I know these items sell, but where can I source them? Where can I find them at a decent price point or cost of goods to be able to turn around and then make some type of margin on them? So that got my gears turning. And even before the footwear stuff, I've always sold things. Like, I've sold ammunition, I've sold guns, I've sold jewelry, I've sold wrecked cars, I've sold glasses. Like, I've sold things, all the time. So when I was in college, I was teaching a concealed weapons course, and I would sell like tactical flashlights and the remanufactured ammunition and some guns through that, and do some of the training, like standing up and doing the coursework stuff. So that spurred it for me, having that background of that, having the background of understanding how businesses work on the financial side. I'm like, okay, well, if I can find enough inventory, or at least if I can start off with enough inventory at the time, I could supplement my job. So that's what I was thinking initially. And I started finding inventory. I started finding multiple units of certain pieces of footwear. And I was able to put it up on third-party platforms like eBay, like Macari. There's another app called Goat. And I would just see what was going to happen. My entry to buy those items was pretty low. Like, the cost of goods was pretty low. So I'm like, okay, let me see what happens. And things started to sell. And I'm like, okay, why did this thing sell? And I'm looking at comparables and comps and going through the data and combing through, like, why are people buying these things? When are they buying them? The seasons that they're buying them in. The sizes, because you can have say like an Air Max 90 in a certain colorway, a size 13 could be worth $100 more than a size 9, even though it's the same shoe.
Wow.
So I just started to dive deep into all that kind of stuff. And I started to come up with just a good intuition in a sense of, what am I looking for from a footwear perspective? And can I get multiple units of that particular item in size 10, size 10 to 14, or women's size, for me, bigger sizes like 9, 8.5, you know, and market my items and get some branding behind it and see what happens. And it started to take off for me like that.
So if you're just tuning in to Talking to Joanne Tosin and Rufus Bill, we're here and we're talking to Kyle Stevens, and he has the business DG Collective. Did I pronounce that right?
Digi, yeah. It's just a funny way to spell, digital. So when I was looking through, not to cut you off, but when I was looking through, like, okay, does anybody have any trademarks or any like branding restrictions on the word digi? If so, how did they spell it? Because originally I was trying to just spell it DIGI.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, somebody has that trademark for that, so I had to come up with a funky way to spell it. So it's pronounced digi, but it's spelled DYGI.
I love it. I love it. Now, what I'm most impressed with is how you took the time to do your market research and your demographic and all of that, because it's very important, because you can have the best product that could change your life, your family's life, but if you don't do the necessary legwork and the necessary research, it can be a failed project. So how were you able, did you interview people, or did you interview other people that are similar into this type of work, or was it just constant research, reading, and just observing the market or markets?
It's two things initially. The great University of YouTube.
Isn't it wonderful?
Exactly. I mean, I say, like, my education from Wayne State was good, but a lot of things that I learned and continue to build upon came from people just sharing their experiences on YouTube or sharing their knowledge on YouTube. So I would take it and just build upon that. YouTube is still, but was a big source in the beginning, as well as just understanding already from a fashion standpoint. I knew what people were wearing. I was just like, how can I find those items? So I started finding people who were in the resale business, as they call it.
Okay.
On YouTube, some people in person, but most were on YouTube. And I started looking at their techniques, the ones that wanted to teach people. And I started really like dissecting what they were doing, where they were going. If they were doing retail arbitrage, meaning picking up an item in your location at a particular price point and selling it to somebody in another state, or even in your state at whatever the market rate is, but you're picking it up at a low enough price point to where you have a good margin so you can make money and then roll the money back over into new inventory.
Okay.
And that was important for me too in the beginning, like understanding you can't pull a salary from this. You need to reinvest everything,
every dollar
back into what you're doing. So when I had the job, that helped, because all I was doing was I literally started off with like $150 and just bought a few items.
Okay.
And then I rolled that $150 into six figures, well above six figures. So based upon just selling the right type of inventory, having the right type of mix. But initially it was YouTube, it was some local people here, and that started me off on my path to just search more and more and figuring out different things in like the whole distribution chain and how items get to certain points.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too. You said something earlier that you were wanting to know when the customer or the client, they were wearing certain things, and you had to do that type of research. Now, have you had a chance? Well, I should ask this: when that wave of gym shoes appeared on the wedding scene, and all of the groom and the groomsmen were wearing gym shoes, were you a part of that? Were you able to or become a part of that particular wave of fashion?
I wanted to do that in my own wedding, but the hard part was sourcing a particular shoe. It was a Jordan 11, which has a whole bunch of patent leather on the uppers. So it looks like a dress shoe, and it was designed like that. Michael Jordan signed to Nike, which owns the subsidiary of Air Jordan. He went to the lead designer at the time of this particular shoe and asked him, like, sneakers are nice, but I want a shoe that I also can wear at a classy event. So what can we do to incorporate like some dress shoe technology into it? And that's where this patent leather toe box around the front of the shoe and all on the sides came into play. And it looks almost like a dress shoe, and you can wear it like that.
It does.
And it's a few.
Go ahead.
It's a few different items, like a few different models that's like that. And that was done intentionally. And you got to think about it, like those shoes were done in the 90s, and they're continuously being retro to now. So the young people, the people who have the nostalgia for the shoes back in the day when it came out and say they couldn't buy it because they didn't have the money then, but now they have the money now. It's just a plethora of different age groups that's interested in these items.
I didn't realize, Joanne and Kyle, that happened so long ago. Time just flies. But I have seen just recently where more mature individuals who are getting married are using a gym shoe as their dress shoe, probably for a number of reasons. The feet hurt, and
and even the brides.
Even the brides
are like, I had to bling out somebody's gym shoes.
Did you?
Or sneakers, I should say, sneakers. Just bling them out. They look like you said, they look like the dress shoe. I couldn't tell you what brand it was, but she just wanted them a little more blingy. So as you know, when that dress, people thought, and hey, but they are so popular.
Now, Kyle, are you strictly into shoes, or do you do other garments or belts or glasses? Or
so shoes was a starting point. Now I do active wear. So I'll do things like joggers, sweatpants, hoodies, sweaters, and a lot of times those have particular technology that makes them appear a certain way, or they use a certain type of fabric that makes them look a little bit better than, like, say, like a standard pair of sweatpants. Nike has like a line called Nike Tech or Nike Sportswear Tech that has joggers, sweatpants, and hoodies that routinely retail for like $120 to $200, and that's like per item. So it's not uncommon for somebody to spend $120 to $140 on a Nike Tech hoodie. And then the joggers are separate at like $110 to $130. So,
one of the things that you're doing right now, especially for me and for our viewers, you're educating us on the language, because you heard me say gym shoes, and then I heard Joanne say sneakers, and then the joggers, and it's so funny, Kyle, because I said, I know they don't call those sweatsuits anymore. And I asked my little circle, they didn't. They were as dumb as I said, I'm getting some younger friends. But joggers.
But some people still refer to them as that. Like, you'll have younger people that'll call them sweatsuits.
Okay.
Or you'll have people that'll ask, I see you have a Nike Tech hoodie. Do you have the joggers to match? Or do you have the complete set, the tops and the bottoms? People will say that. But a lot of the terminology continues to circulate. Like the stuff that you use, or maybe even an older generation was using, younger people than me and people my age in their 30s or late 20s are starting to adopt that again. And it's just recycling itself.
Yeah, it is. Because
what they say, go ahead.
Go ahead, Joanne.
Oh, no, they say there's nothing new under the sun. And I tell people all the time, even with my business, with hair and all of that, and they come up with these new names of styles, and I'm like, oh, but that's nothing but y'all just changed the name. And so that same concept of we called them joggers, we called them sneakers, somebody called them something else, somebody called them but the names just kind of recycle, and it's like, wow. And then some of the young people, they're saying, well, no, this is new. And so
Mhm.
I had to go back. I had to prove it to him. I had to find pictures and sign. And I'm like, look, see this? This was in my day. This was
Right.
back in the 70s, or this was back in the 80s, or this was in the
Right.
90s. What? Yeah, there's nothing new under the sun. But you know what,
And
Kyle? There's one thing that you said that a lot of people miss. When you said that you started out with $150
$50.
and you had to put that money right back in that business. And that's what a lot of people don't understand when it comes to business, is that you're going to make some money, but that money, you have to regenerate your business. You have to take care of your business if you want that business to succeed.
Mhm.
And you know, and think some things have not changed. Where they say, you know, within a lot of times you're not really making money. You know, it might take 3 to 5 years for you to really make money, depending on what your business is. And so a lot of young people, and I think we've had this conversation before, Rufus, with some others, is that, oh, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna be able to sit and da 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 da. You work harder
You do.
at your own. You
Yes, you
work
do.
hard, but the gratification that it's yours.
Yours.
That is mine. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I can go somewhere and do 9 to 5 and come home, and I get vacation time and sick time and
Right.
whatever other time that, you know, they make personal days and all that. When you have your own, you know, you take vacation time, it's on you.
It's on you.
Take
Right.
sick time, it's on you. You
Mhm.
take,
Right.
and so I want people to really understand that having your own, being an entrepreneur is a wonderful thing, but it's a hustle.
It's a hustle.
It's not as easy as a lot of them. And that's why they don't last past that 2 or 3 year mark, because they don't realize that, no, those first 2, 3 years, no, you can't go out and buy a BMW. No, you can't go out and buy, you got, no, because I've seen it. I'm telling you.
Yes.
And I know we probably all have seen it.
Mhm.
It's no, that money has to be regenerated back into that business. It has to be regenerated back. And so as you start doing that, and as you start really taking care of the business then can start taking care of you.
Definitely.
Right.
And so
And you gotta
go ahead.
go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta have, like, that goes back to structuring it the right way.
Mhm.
And especially young people, or just people who are influenced by social media, they'll hop on IG or Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever, and they see these lifestyles and this curated, you know, image that somebody's creating, but you don't understand where they are in the cycle. You don't
Right.
understand if what they're even showing you is actually a part of their life, or are they just being sponsored by a brand or a car company to be like, hey, just tell them you drive this Bentley over here and get some attention on our dealership or something, you know.
Exactly.
So it's a process, and you have to also, I think you have to get to a point where, if you truly want to scale and grow, you have to structure your business to where you can implement a system, to where you can hire people, to where if you do take that vacation, you have a competent manager in place that can, even if it's a small team, that can operate the business with you being gone for a week or 5 days or whatever. Not saying that that's the only way you should do things. Some people want to be more like specialists and they want to just run their operation themselves. That's fine. But if you truly want to grow something very big, you have to get other people involved. And you have to understand the cash flow of any business. And like going back to what you're saying, understanding that just because you made 150,000 this year doesn't mean you can go out and just get a fat car note or a convertible, whatever, or move into some crazy big condo or house or whatever. You have to be able to afford that thing based off the cash flow, and not just deplete your business bank account saying, oh, I have this nice thing, but yet your business is broke and poor.
Right.
That's not the way you want to live. You want to be producing. Like you don't want to be always chasing your tail every time.
That's right.
And doing stuff like that would be a detriment to your business, especially in the beginning.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, are you at a stage now where you are designing active wear or designing a shoe?
No, so I'm still distributing
Okay.
popular brands.
All
I
right.
think the next stage for me, obviously, continue to grow that. But there will be a point in time where I will have to look at, should I produce my own garments? And if I'm going to produce them, what is going to be my niche? What am I going to focus on? Because I feel like with this business, the distribution side is always going to be the primary. It's just
Exactly.
about, how do I get to, say, like a 20,000 square foot warehouse where I have enough items coming in and I can sell 100,000 SKUs or
Mm-hmm.
100,000 different items every month, opposed
Yes.
to just like 50 or 100 like now. So I think that could be something definitely down the line to develop that. But I know that's going to take a lot of capital to do
To
that.
do
And I
that.
still need to focus on the structure of what I have now and the distribution part, and really expand that out as far as I can so that I can get a warehouse, because that's inevitably what I'm trying to get to, is a warehouse to distribute from.
And it's always that you have to build a solid foundation and whatever it is that you choose to do. So Kyle, give us an average day at the company. So you get up on any day. What do you do? How do you plan that day?
So typically, I kind of fall into a cycle. The last couple of weeks, since it's kind of been like New Year's or whatever, I've been waking up late, which is not good. But typically, like, a normal day would be to get up in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
try to do some physical activity, whether it be cardio, weights, or stretching or whatever. Do a little bit of prayer, and then go from that point to, okay, let me check to see what orders have come through on the
Okay.
platforms that I'm distributing on. I'll see it's 3 orders over here, 4 orders over here, or 2 orders over here. Then I'll know, okay, these are the items that I need to pick. I call it a pick list. These are the items that I need to pick out of my inventory when I get to my inventory room. And at this point where I'm living now, I don't have enough space to have my inventory here. So my parents were gracious enough to give me a room in the basement that I turned into my
Thank
inventory
God for
room. So
parents.
Thank
yeah,
you, parents.
exactly. I can fit about 1,000 items down there, individual items. So I have it all laid out where it's like a
Okay.
footwear section, where it's a clothing section, and then packing materials and stuff. So I'll go through my list on my phone, pick out those orders that have already been bought, because they're already pre-packed. So I just have to find a particular style number in a section where they are, which I already kind of have an idea of the section. Then it's just looking for the style number, which corresponds to the right colorway and size. I'll pick that out. I will take that to my little shipping station and I'll
Okay.
tape it up. I'll put promotional materials in there, like coupons or coded coupons, which are discounts, or just whatever I want,
Okay.
like, the customer to see. And then I'll print the labels in bulk. And then I'll take those labels and put them on the package and have that set out to be shipped. I ship same day. So unless it's like a Saturday, which I'll ship those items on a Sunday, typically, through FedEx, or post office is not open. So it'll be FedEx or the UPS store. So that's like the start of the beginning of the day. And then I'll go through after that. Once those orders are ready, set aside, I'll start processing new inventory that I picked up from the day prior. Sometimes I do that in the morning. Sometimes I do that in the evening. Sometimes I do that all day. It might be just a day where I'm going out and finding items just to bring
Okay.
back. So I'll process all that new stuff. I'll start doing pictures, or what I call picture sets. So I'll be taking pictures in a light box for shoes, so that it's a pure white background, it's clean,
Yes.
it's uniform, the angles are all the same. And I have a certain routine with that, in which I do 12 pictures for each set. Same thing with clothing. But the clothing, I don't have a big enough light box at the moment to
Okay.
process that in. So I do what's called a flat lay, which is basically like a table with a background on it, which is typically white. And I'll take 12 to 15 individual items, just depending on how unique the piece might be. I'll take all those pictures and I'll start attaching them to my listings. So right now I'm not selling directly through my website, which that'll be in the future,
Okay.
but I'm leveraging the marketplace of eBay, which is
Perfect.
humongous.
Yes, it
Macari, which is a smaller kind of boutique app, but it still has a good amount of exposure. And then I will use GOAT for more expensive shoes. And that's purely shoes. I don't do any clothes on there. So when it comes to GOAT, I don't have to take pictures. I can just list the item that I have because I've sold so many items that once you get to a certain score or point in which you've distributed, like say over 200 items, they'll allow you to just add items without taking any pictures and without even describing the condition.
Okay.
If you're saying it's new, then they'll give you the benefit of the doubt to say it's new. And typically on GOAT, I'm selling sneakers that are within the $200 to $2,000 range.
Okay.
So it just depends on what the item is. So I'll get all the pictures together, add them to my listings. We'll create the listings first, then add the pictures to my listings. Make sure I have my item specifics in there so people can find if they're searching for navy blue hoodie or men's size 10.5 Air Max 95, or certain shoes will have a nickname like a Jordan 1 bread, things like that. I'll make sure to put those key terms in my item specifics, in my listing title, in the body itself. And I'll make sure I go through and describe like the condition. If there's any defects, I point it out in the pictures and I'll put a blurb in the description.
Okay.
And then I'll have the sizing information, the style code, the colorway. And if they need to contact me, here's a button in which you can contact me.
Okay.
So getting towards the end of the day would be, well, actually before the end of the day. So say around 3:30, 4 o'clock is about my cutoff time to get everything shipped. So the stuff that I prepared in the morning, that's ready to go. New item orders that have come through while I'm processing inventory and doing pictures and getting my listings together. I'll get that stuff together just in between everything and label those, package them up. So around 4 o'clock, I'll have all my orders for the day to go out. And then I'll go to the UPS store. I'll go to FedEx. I'll go to the post office and drop everything off. And I always get a receipt, because if things are lost or if somebody decides to steal an item at the post office, which has happened to me, right? You have, an insurance product attached to your shipping service, depending on what you use, that will cover the cost up to a certain amount, typically $100 of what the item is. So a lot of times, many of the items, my cost of goods is less than $100. Sometimes it's more. But thankfully, those more expensive items, I haven't had those stolen or lost yet. But even if that happens, there's an insurance policy kind of in place to recoup some of the cost of goods.
Okay.
And then through the platforms also, they have seller protections once you reach certain levels. Like if you're a top rated seller, like I am at this point, I'm offered some different things to help protect the business that covers those lost or stolen goods. So once that's shipped out, I might go source again at night, or I'll come home and just start setting my day up for tomorrow. So a typical day's range of work, Monday through Friday, would be 8:30 to about 7-ish. I get done around 7-ish, 8 o'clock. So that's pretty much a typical day.
And the reason why I asked you about a typical day, Kyle, because Joanne, many times, although we're saying that you're an entrepreneur and you own this business and it's yours, people still don't have a grasp on what you do,
right,
or what needs to be done to be successful. Because as you clearly stated, as you sell and your product, the higher you get on certain platforms, the more trustworthy, the more trusting that these platforms are to you, giving you a little leadway. And it's really important to stress to entrepreneurs, he's just not at home twiddling his fingers and then at 1 o'clock saying, "Oh, let me get these shipments out." And just from your describing that, it's a skillfully organized process.
Yes.
From start to finish. I loved how you said, when you wake up in the morning, you get that adrenaline flowing, and then you have the one-on-one in prayer, and then boom, you're right at it. And all of that is very important when you have pledged to be a success in your business. Now,
Right.
were you able to take some of some of the things from your corporate world or from your finance world and to apply it into this business in terms
Most,
of anything?
yeah, most definitely, especially like Excel skills. That
Uh,
has been vital for me because all of my inventory is tracked in Excel, or even
really?
things like QuickBooks. So for your basic accounting stuff, understanding basic accounting and having a knowledge base to pull from. Not saying I'm like a CPA or anything like that, but
Right.
I understand the basics. I'm able to uh, shorten the learning curve with a lot of things that is required of a small or micro business. I consider myself a micro business at this
Mm-hmm.
point. I don't I don't necessarily have a lot of extra capital to go out and pay professionals to do those things yet.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think it's important for people who are running their own thing, their own shop, or just, everything falls on you at the end of the day. So you need to make sure you have a solid foundation of your financials, of your books, of your marketing, of your branding, of how you treat customers with customer service, of
Mm-hmm.
the logistics of shipping, of how labels are, how they charge you for the label in terms of how much the item weighs. If the box shape is not uniform, they're going to charge you more. Like, you need to pick up these little nuances so
Right.
that when you do hire a professional, you have the ability to kind of speak some of the same language so you can understand better, and they can give you new things that you never knew about that could further advance your business
Mm-hmm.
in many different ways. So I think it's important for people in the beginning, if you are starting out small, just to try to understand all the key important areas of what you do and try to refine those things. Because right now I'm in the process of refining. I have
Okay.
a setup, but I know this is certain weak points in my setup, and I've already identified it based upon the experience of
Right.
dealing with that issue. So I'm like, oh, I know going into 2023, I know a certain things that I need to upgrade about my shipping process.
Mm-hmm.
I know certain things I need to upgrade about my my janky laptop because it just can't process like all the information that I'm putting in it. It's starting to really slow down now. So
Mm-hmm.
I need to get a better laptop. But I think it's important for that individual and whatever it is you do to understand that at the end of the day, the success and failure all falls on you, especially in the
Definitely.
small or micro sized business. So if you want to sit around and twiddle your thumbs and be on TikTok or be on whatever it is you do, and you say you're an entrepreneur and you running this and running that, but yet you're not actually putting in that work,
Right. You'll be going to work.
yeah,
Someone
it's over
else's
for you.
work. It
You've
is.
already lost because you
Right.
have somebody like me that'll come and take your customers for sure.
Exactly.
I'm coming for it and I'm gonna get it. So
How about
so
that?
don't be
Awesome.
lazy about it.
When I started playing for weddings and playing piano, and I was younger, and just getting into that whole industry of branding myself, and I after one season of weddings, which are mostly between spring and summer, I
Mm-hmm.
realized I had wasted a lot of time. People don't come to rehearsal on time.
Mm-hmm.
Weddings start late. Can they do that song again? Well, I'm thinking about changing that song. And so, that first year, I jotted the good, the bad, the ugly. But when I came out that next year, I had a process. I said, this is where I will be at your rehearsal, 1 hour only. Now, whatever happens after my 7 to 8 or 6 to 7, it's on you. I need to have all of the songs because, Joanna, you probably know better than anybody. Well, we decided to change the song and we want to sing this. Okay, so now it's the day before the wedding. I have to go learn new music. And if I have my team or at that time, my other soloists, everyone has to learn new music. And I said, no, I can't continue to operate because I'm coming out on the back end and not the front end. So that
Right.
organization and learning and taking those experiences and seeing where you need to increase, what you need to decrease, and as you say, what's janky about everything. You know, that's that time how you formulate it and get the solid foundation. So when they know, well, don't call Rufus because he's strict.
And you know what? And you find that, Rufus, that is so true. I find that a lot myself, whether it's the event planning, whether it's the hair, whether it's is that you have to keep watching what Kyle said. You have to keep watching. You have to keep rating yourself. You have to keep looking in the mirror and see, how can I do this better? And people get like, even with, like, I'm gonna say with my wedding planning, I have a structure that I like to follow. Where a lot of times people are all over the place. And a lot of times they think I'm trying to be controlling of their event, but no, there's a structure that you need to follow that makes life easier as you're planning this event for everybody. It makes it easier for me. It makes it easier for you. And so I've learned a long time ago, try to help people follow the structure. If you follow this structure, if you follow the plan that I have for you up until the day of, you'll see. But a lot of people want to go against that, and people have walked away.
Yes.
But you know what? Some of those people who have walked away have called me back. Man, I didn't realize it was this much. I didn't realize it was so much work. No wonder. And you have to know your value.
Yes, you do.
You have to know that, yeah, she might do it down the street for $25. Joanne's not doing it for $25. First of all, I use all professional products. I use, I get the best people. I get and so the best people that my person can afford. Let me put it that way. And so I use only good products, the best products that we can afford, that I can afford, and my people can afford. So know your worth. I learned that in business class a long time ago. Know your worth. Stick by your worth. Stick by what you believe in. If you believe in yourself, stick by that. And the people that are supposed to be with you will be with you. Those who are not will do what they want.
They definitely will
do. And you can go for $25 or $50 or whatever it is that you but it's okay. And you have to learn that you have to feel within yourself, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So Kyle, I'm telling you, I really appreciate you sharing.
Definitely.
All the ins and outs. I admire you for what you're doing. All I can say is do it.
Definitly.
Do it. You're doing it.
And you're doing it.
You're doing it.
And then doing it again well.
Yes. And the professionalism, knowing who you are, knowing your worth, knowing that, hey, somebody can call, oh man, can I get that for?
Yep.
Can you hook me up for? This is my price.
And I've dealt with that too. Like, I've had to walk away from deals knowing that they just weren't good for me. And it's okay to walk away from sales. It's okay. And sometimes customers try to use that as a tactic to be like, I had one guy, he was trying to negotiate some low price on a particular item. And this item was selling for between $100 and $125. And he wanted to pay me like $55, including shipping. So he wanted me to cover the shipping. And he found, I guess, somebody in his local area, and he sent me a screenshot. He was like, see, this could have been you. And I'm like, I've been selling long enough to know that every deal is not a good deal. Every deal is not gold. So I'm happy you found what you found. And it's okay if we have differences. I just wasn't the seller for you. Right. And it's okay to
he could have gotten them cheaper, probably did somewhere else, but you know your worth. You know what you do.
Right.
You know how you do. You know how you operate your business. And that's okay. That's a wonderful thing.
and I was okay with that. And I'm like, it just didn't happen for us. Maybe in the future, if we can connect on something, cool. But I'm not going to be mad or rub it in your face or take it personally. It's just
not take it personal.
You felt like you found a better deal or did find a better deal given on your geographical location, because that's what happened in this case. This person was in California. The seller was in California. For me, it's expensive to ship to California.
Right.
So, I'm okay with that. But he tried to make it like a big thing. And I'm like, I'm good, bro. Like, I'm fine.
No.
You know what? My oldest brother taught me years ago, my oldest brother, Greg, and he told me, he said, what God has for you, is for you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a song out, what God has for me is for me, and nobody can take it away from me.
That's right.
And guess what? There's gonna be those who walk away, but those that walk away, God's gonna send 2 or 3 more
How
your
about
way
that?
to replace that one that walks away.
Exactly.
And I've seen it too many times for myself. And I truly believe in that. I truly believe in that.
Exactly. And I think new entrepreneurs, they need to have patience, because it's either something you develop or something you just have a natural inclination to be like, okay, I can be more patient about this. Because a lot of times I've noticed with people, specifically in my space, or say like in real estate, which is another area that I look at, people feel like when they're new, they just need the activity. They need to generate a sale. They need to generate a commission. They need to do this. They need to get their name out there. That's all fine and dandy, but at the same time, like you said, know your worth and understand fully what you sell. Like, know every detail about what you have and what you offer, and to understand the value proposition of that item or of that service, and not discount yourself so far to where you're going to discount yourself out of business. You just won't survive. And then you're going to be looking up like, man, I did all this work and nothing happened. Well, you didn't learn from your mistakes. So you have to practice a certain amount of patience.
You do
to being a newer entrepreneur and trying to figure things out. And I'm still new. Like, I've done things in the past that have vastly differentiated from this, that have been failures, that I've took lessons from, that I've applied to this distribution business, and that I'll apply in the future to the type of commercial real estate I want to do. Like, all those lessons, those failures taught me more than the little successes that I had. Definitely. And I cherish the failures. And it sounds weird, but I failed my way forward. And
but those failures are actually stepping stones. You know, they really are. They're stepping stones. And like you said, if you learn from the failures and not let them take you out, if you learn from those failures, then that's just a stepping stone.
It definitely is.
To your next level. That's all it is. Yeah.
You know, while we were doing the show, the scenario came to me of the turtle and the hare. And that turtle was focused, and he just took his time, humming along the way. And that rabbit was like, I'm going to buy that BMW. I'm going to get me that new thing. I'm going to shoot over here and have dinner. You still over there. And that turtle kept steady. And people say slow. This turtle was just steady, just building and learning and putting things together and keep going, and won the race.
Yes.
Exactly. And there's a saying too that relates to that. Special teams like Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, they use it all the time. Fast is slow, slow is fast.
Wow.
So if you're diligent in what you do and you understand the fundamentals and you practice those fundamentals and they become like second nature to you,
yes.
When you move slow, you're still moving fast.
Yes, you are.
Because you're not making mistakes often. And then the mistakes that you make, you have a frame of mind, a reference to be like, oh, I know how to correct this on the fly. And think about what those men and women do. Like, those are special operators. They're in situations that most of us will never be in, life and death situations, capture situations, carrying out high target value situations to execute and under just extreme amounts of pressure, and they get it done. So.
Yes. You know, I was doing a reading for an event a couple of weeks ago, and it may have consisted of, I don't know, maybe 30,000 words. And I was reading this, and I was just slow, and just I was just taking my time. And someone said to me a week later, "You were reading so slow. I thought you would never get finished." I said, "But did I make one mistake?" They looked at me. They said, "No." I said, "Could you understand every word I said?" "Well, oh yeah, I did." I said, "Did you understand the story?" "Well, yes." I said, "Moving on."
Exactly. You did your job. You did it to the highest level. Right.
I said, "I know you couldn't understand it because you're here and I'm here." And not being funny, but you know, as a professional, Kyle and Joanne, we have to take the lead, and we have to do what we know to do. That's going to get the kind of results that we want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So how can we order? What is the process that we need to do as a consumer?
So because I don't have a direct website at the
Okay.
moment and I'm
Right.
building that out, my main store is on eBay.
All
So
right.
if anybody wanted to see the items that I have, they can go to store.ebay.com/DYGI collective. And that would show my entire inventory, which I have around 356 items in stock right now.
Give that to us again.
That would be store.ebay.com/DYGI collective. It's long.
But it works.
Okay, it works. It works. So now, just one last question. Locally, so say when I go on the site, so do you still have to deliver to me, or is there a location that I can come pick up, or do you still deliver or mail, or can I meet you somewhere, or how does that work if it's somebody that's local?
I'll do whatever people want to do. So I've met people, at predestinated like times and locations. I've met people at the gym, at the grocery store. I've met people at banks. I've met them at their house. I've shipped it to them in state. So it just depends on however they want to do and whatever they want to do.
Okay, great. Give it to us one more time.
So that would be stores.ebay.com/DYGI collective.
All right. And so you can definitely get any the active wear, the shoe wear, is at this particular website, correct?
Right. And that I also show like hats. I've been kind of going in and out of like ball hats and scullies like this and team issued stuff. So yeah. Or they can find me on IG, on Instagram, or Facebook at DigiCollective. I'm not posting a lot of stuff on there right now, but if somebody just wanted to get in contact with me and shoot me a message, either of those will work.
And as you noticed, everybody, he didn't say he was over there on Facebook trying to describe anything for you, but you can reach him through Facebook and IG, and then definitely that will send you over to the platform where you can start shopping. And Valentine's Day is next, correct? That's the big holiday. So for your sweetie, go Digi.
Exactly. That's a nice saying.
Y'all didn't hear me today.
I'm gonna have to pay you for that.
And I've recorded it too.
Got it.
You go right ahead and use that, man. So you have been a very great guest, and thank you so very much, Kyle. We really appreciate your time, your talents, and for you sharing and giving us an insight on your day-to-day world with Digi Collective.
Yeah, I appreciate you both. Like, I've never done a podcast before. I always listen, but I've never been a participant. So this is
all right.
So it was a great experience.
Look, so your first one, Auntie Joe.
Exactly.
Right, Auntie Joe hooked you up.
Exactly. She sure did. So I appreciate both of you guys. This was fun.
I appreciate
Not
you
a problem.
so much.
Not a problem. I'll make sure that Joanne sends this link to you, and then you can just have it as in your records and for your archives as well. All right. And once again, Kyle, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, wait, before you go, one more time, tell us how we can get your product.
You can find me on Instagram or Facebook at Digi Collective, or you can find my main store at stores.ebay.com/Digi Collective.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great week.
Have
you too. Thank
wonderful week. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Joanne, that was a great show.
Wasn't it?
It was a great show.
I'm so proud of him. I am so, and it's funny, like I said, they don't realize I'm listening. I listen to a lot of conversations and stuff, And especially just because when he starts talking, you can, even though he's real laid back, to me,
Right.
he's real laid back, but you can hear the excitement of what he does in his voice.
And the passion.
And so yes, the passion. And so I'm like, okay, I need to have him. When is my show?
When is my turn?
My turn. Because I need to have him just talk about it. And I'm just so proud of our young people who are doing things.
Mm-hmm.
They're not sitting back waiting for the government to give them some money. Not sitting back, woe is me. Not sitting, you know what I'm saying? So he taking that initiative and doing the work, doing the research, steady.
That's a lot
forward.
within itself.
That's a lot to stick, because you have to steady do that research, steady keep up on your business, trends, your product, your trends, your everything. So I had to.
I'm glad he was a part of talking to today. Yes. One of the things that he was, that I go back to, is that organization of how he runs his business.
Yes.
If he was selling pencils, he has that organization. And that is the key. That is what really propels your business into mainstream, is the organization.
Yes.
It doesn't matter the product.
And the steadfastness, like you said, that slow, moving steady, moving forward, and how he's learned from his failures, and not woe is me and oh man, I that steady. Okay, I failed this time. Okay, let's get up. Let's do what we have to do.
Right.
I've learned that lesson. Look, first question, how did I mess up, or what went wrong? Even if you didn't mess up, something probably went wrong, and it doesn't always have to be your fault.
Yeah.
But okay, so now how can I better this step forward?
Exactly.
And it just brings to mind, remember Formula 409, that cleaner?
Yes.
And the story behind that is that it's called 409 because the man failed 409 times of what he was trying to do.
Did not know.
That's why it's called 409.
Get out of here.
What if he had given up?
At
that 409 has been around for
forever.
Years.
At least.
It's just those stories. You just never know. And I just wanted for him to encourage somebody else.
Yes.
And so whoever listens to this, who wants to go into entrepreneurship, who wants to do their own thing, that he as a young person can encourage someone else and let them know, man or woman, this is work. It's work, but it's worth it because it's yours.
It's yours.
The satisfaction, this is mine.
And you know what I also liked, and I should have said it while he was on, his level of integrity, because he said he was interested in the Wall Street. He says, but you had to do some things that he just didn't feel comfortable doing. And for someone to publicly say that, you have got to believe in his product and what he does, because you're thinking, getting the insurance on the shoes, not saying, oh, you didn't get them? Oh well. The business has integrity. The owner has integrity. And that's the type of business and person that you want to deal with, and that you're trusting with, and if something went wrong in the shipping or whatever, he's going to make it right, and he's going to provide quality service for quality people all the time.
Right. That's it. And that's it.
Yes.
Bottom line. Amen.
The bottom line.
Yes.
Joanne, as always,
sir.
It's good.
You
and
too.
It's good to be back. And I want you to have a great week.
You too, Rufus. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. You're back in school this week, right?
I went back last week.
Oh, last week. Okay.
Joanne,
a lot of my clients were out last week.
That's a whole different story.
We need a show on that.
We need a show about going back.
Counselor for that one.
Oh my Lord! When I heard my name, Mr. B, I said, "Good God, today." But he got me ready quick. I had to get right back in the groove. All right,
Yes,
Joanne.
yes.
Have a
Have a great
great
one.
evening. All right.
Yes,
All
peace.
right. Peace.